There is a big concern over how you would resolve a Space Jace, or Space Beleren to be exact, how you would represent the lanes, the sectors that are on the battlefield. So what I thought I'd do in this informational and tutorial video is show you how to represent those things in a game of Magic the Gathering. Here we have a board state. Let's say you have like half the creatures in your deck in play, and someone plays Space Jace. There's a static ability on Space Jace. It's not a trigger like I said in the video yesterday, or potentially. It appears to be a static that says there are lanes. The application is that if you haven't got a creature on a lane when it's cast and the static ability happens, you have to put things into a lane. So Jace enters the battlefield. There are now 3 lanes, or 3 sectors. You may now allocate... I've got something under my map. Oh, it's my gold thing. You may now allocate your creatures to those areas. Let's turn up the lighting there so you can see me a little bit better. There's a bit of glare, but we're not playing a game of Magic, so I'm not going to fix that right. The easiest way to do this, everybody at home, is to have left, middle, and right. So I'm going to put these 3 creatures in my left lane, my alpha. I'm going to put these, I don't know, 6 or 7 creatures into my beta, and I'm going to put these into my gamma. Now, bearing in mind, there's probably a load of lands in play here as well, and you might even have 1 or 2 artifacts or enchantments. Oh no, the board state is messy, but that's Magic the Gathering for you, baby. That's right, the screen has changed again because I've messed about to try and get rid of some of that glare because it's pissing me off. So here's your board state. You've got alpha, beta, and gamma. And now everyone else at the board has done the same thing. There's an alpha, a beta, and a gamma. You don't have to put your creatures in the same pile as your opponent's creatures or anything like that because Jace doesn't give a shit about it. Then when we uptick this Jace, Space Jace, now only creatures in alpha can block alpha creatures. So when your opponent then attacks you with 2 creatures in their alpha, their left, you now can block with only creatures in your left. And the same is to be said for the middle and for the right. That's right, it's that simple. If Space Jace was a downtick, all the counters would go into 1 lane. So let's say they pick middle or beta. It goes on all the creatures here in your middle category for everybody on the board. You, the teammate, your opponent to your left, the opponent to their left, and the original player casting the Jace if we assume they're to your right in this situation. And of course, his ultimate as well kills all creatures in 1 lane. So they pick gamma, or right-hand lane as I'm going to call it. It kills everything in the right-hand lane. And that is it. That's how to resolve and utilize and display a Space Jace battlefield. Now, of course, some people might find left, middle, and right very confusing, so you can use dice. Do I have any dice to hand here? I didn't think about this part of the video. So you can have lane 1, if you really wanted to, lane 2, if you really wanted to. I think this is actually more confusing, if anything, and lane 3. I wouldn't use spin downs for these, but that's an option, right? And then you ask, oh, what's everyone got in lane 2? When you activate your Space Jace. Bearing in mind that you attacking any other player that doesn't control the Jace and the Jace doesn't activate this turn, these lanes don't matter. They only matter when Space Jace has been upticked, downticked, or ultimated. Besides that, being in lane 1, 2, or 3, left, middle, or right, alpha, beta, or gamma, does not matter. Because the static ability that makes these lanes does not dictate where people can attack. It is this uptick that does that. To clarify, and to make this as abundantly clear as possible, because I think people are misreading this or freaking out initially and refusing to actually read it, the uptick is what changes the dynamic of how combat happens. Also, when Space Jace dies, there are no lanes anymore. It is a static ability that is on Space Jace. If he's not in play, there are no lanes. There are no sectors. There are no reasons to complain on Twitter.com. I'm trying not to be too flippant and indignant here because obviously this may be confusing for some people. It's why I'm trying to be seriously here, helping you understand where or how to display your creatures in terms of being in sectors for Space Jace. Of course, if you have 1,000 tokens, it's going to be a bit more complicated, and I'm sorry, but those things happen off Magic cards all the time. Warp World is not your friend. But I do believe there's an echo chamber. I do believe there is a discourse which is pushing people to just not even begin to try and understand this card, because that's the way Magic discourse works, is to be angry at anything and everything. There are things in this set to be annoyed about. The legality issues, the weirdness of it, two different mechanics that create extra decks is bizarro. I'll do a whole video ranting about that. But this is but a small drop in a much wider, complicated Magic the Gathering ocean. I hope that's been helpful. I hope you've enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I don't know why I'm saying that, actually, because in reality, you're just going to tell me how much you hate Space Jace, and that's kind of what I'm trying to avoid here. I'm trying to get people to think. a bit more proactively about how or if this is even going to affect you in any way, shape or form. This is my second video about Space Jace in so many days. Did you know the video that I made yesterday? I also talked about this on stream as well. But the video that I made yesterday about Space Jace, I actually made before I realized that Twitter.com was getting angry about Space Jace. I actually just talked about how I thought it was a cute joke and a fun bit of top-down design from the joke. And before I knew it, I logged back onto Twitter and saw that Twitter and Reddit were losing their fucking minds. Thanks for watching. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. I've been Vince, PleasantKenobi on the internet. If you like the video, don't forget to hit that like button, don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you all soon. Ta-ta for now.